out of the locker room, just ambled back to the bench, and they're ready to play.
Meanwhile, Holy Cross has been out here for some 4 minutes and 35 seconds going through warm-ups and shooting. And this third period, God, I got it right, is about to begin. Sanders inbounds it to Johnson for Kennedy. And the second half is underway. Johnson gives it over to Sanders. Sanders wants to go right now, comes left, comes down the lane with a driving shot that's no good. Rebound ripped out of the hands of Evans by Derek Ward, and away comes Minetti. Minetti bounce passes to Zimmerman. Redding on the right. Murphy swings it over to Zimmerman. 3-ball on the way by Tootie is good. Tootie Zimmerman with his first points of the night. And it's a 7-point lead. Here's the press, but Kennedy is able to break the press as Cardoza comes down the right-hand side. Cardoza gets it back into the hands of Johnson. Johnson now over to Sanders. Sanders working against Ward, gives it off to Williams. Williams working against Redding. Now there's a push and a foul. That was pretty blatant, too, by Mark Redding as he just kind of put the back of his hands into the chest of the opposing player, and he picked up the easy foul. First for Redding, first on the team here in the second half. Now the inbounds coming from Sanders. Gets it over to Johnson. Tracks it down, now comes across the midcourt line. Minute gone by here in the third period of play. 29-22, Kennedy leading Holy Cross. Williams the fadeaway, no good. Tapped up by Derek Ward, no good. Sanders goes up with a wild shot that's no good. Rebound taken away by Mark Redding of Holy Cross, and here come the Crusaders. This is Tootie Zimmerman to the top of the key, left side, over to Redding. Back to Murphy. Redding to Zimmerman, and the 3-ball underway. No good off the glass. Rebound inside by Derek Ward. Can't get it to go down. Rebound taken away by Kennedy. And coming away with the ball was Cardoza for Kennedy. Puts it into Marcus Johnson's hands. Johnson with 5 points in the first half. Puts on the brakes between the leg. A nice little nifty move. And now he snaps it outside to Cardoza. Picks up a pick. Now gives it into the hands of Williams. Williams to Sanders. Sanders working against Derek Ward. Puts it over. Passes it over to Johnson. Back to Sanders outside the key. Now it comes over on the left-hand side to Cardoza right in front of us. Bothered by Minetti. And now whirls away. One-handed bounce pass over to Sanders. Sanders taking that big body, wants to go inside, falls down, throws the ball away, and it'll be turnover. Number 7 against the Kennedy Eagles. They give the ball up after running plenty of time off of that clock. A full minute and 1 second off of that clock there. I had it, Steve.
And 2 minutes into this third period, only one basket. That's the three-pointer by Zimmerman.
5:50 remaining in the third. 29-22, Kennedy. Murphy wants to come baseline, comes in with a running one-hander, no good, tapped around. Sanders lets it go. It goes out of bounds. Last touch by Derek Ward. You know, for a big guy, Derek Ward is just so quick off his feet, isn't he?
Oh, he's very quick.
Now the impress, and it's thrown away. Comes right to Steve Gussick.
And he blows
it. Right into his hands, and he flubbed it. You had your chance, and you flubbed it.
That was probably on television tonight, though.
It was. So Mark Redding chases it down. Holy Cross retains possession. And now here's the inbounds. Tootie Zimmerman looking to run the offense. Clock is running. Holy Cross down by 7 at 29-22. Minetti with the ball. Minetti wants to penetrate the defense. Now backs out. Gives it to Zimmerman. Right side to Redding. Zimmerman, Minetti. On the left, Minetti inside the key, gives it to Zimmerman. Over to Redding, lets fly a 3-ball, launches a line drive shot that is grabbed by Derek Ward, who fires it off the body of Evans, out of bounds, and Holy Cross retains possession. Little bit more intensity by the Crusaders, Steve.
Derek Ward's come out on a mission this period, already his third rebound of this period after being held without one in the second quarter. A little more intensity by him and by Zimmerman and other Holy Cross players.
Zimmerman to Minetti to Redding in the corner. Here's Minetti. He'll let fly a 3-ball, no good. It's short once again. Battled for inside and grabbed away by Sanders. Johnson leading down court. Evans up against the defense, no good. Whistle and the foul against Tootie Zimmerman. And that'll be Zimmerman's first personal foul. And to the line will go Evans. Elijah Evans with 11 points in the first half. Steps to the line to shoot a pair. He's been able to wiggle loose several times tonight, has Elijah Evans, and no one has noticed. First foul shot is around and out. Makes him 1 of 3 at the line tonight. He gets another one.
Evans only a 57% foul shooter for the season.
Gets himself steady and ready. Bounces and lets it fly. It's good. 12 points tonight for Elijah Evans. It's 30-22, the 8-point lead. Inside, Kyle Murphy goes up against all the big guys, gets it knocked out of his hands, scramble for the ball underneath, and the possession arrow belongs to Holy Cross. Nice tie-up underneath, says Jack to his kids, Jack Taglia. And Ed Generelli not pleased at all with our officials, especially Bill Murphy. Eddie just kind of giving Murphy the business. Inbounds it goes, and here's Derek Ward. Yes, and it counts. Derek Ward goes up with the inbound pass. Goes up, and he was fouled. Foul was called on Williams. Bradley Williams, that's his first. Derek Ward trying to complete the three-point play. He is just 4 of 6 at the line. Misses that shot. And the rebound put back in good by Mark Redding. And Holy Cross closes the 11-point gap now down to 4, 30-26. Kennedy with the lead. 4:40 remaining in the third period of play. Bob Sagendorf, Steve Gesick, Gordy Woods bring you tonight's game on 1320 WATR Waterbury and WATR.com. So glad you're listening wherever you might be tonight. Here's Sanders for Kennedy. Swings it over to Williams on the right-hand side, working against Redding. Backs out, looking for some help. Holy Cross stepping up the defense. Here it is to lead to Sanders. Sanders goes down and puts it in. Oh, nice move by Sanders. The big boy got loose and gets his first points of the night. But here's Holy Cross immediately. Manetti goes up, has the ball stripped out of his hand. Coming down Cardoza. Taken, knocked out of bounds by Manetti. And a nice comeback play by Manetti, who got a little bit lost inside there, lost the ball, came back and knocked it out.
Great hustle by Manetti to come back and knock that ball away as Cardoza was slowed down just a bit to check out who was behind him and gave Manetti a chance to knock the ball away.
Zimmerman bothering Johnson on the inbounds, and Johnson backs out, gets a pick from Sanders. It should have been a foul, none called, but here's Derek Ward who jams it home. Derek Ward takes that big body and goes up and slams it down. And it's 32-28 in favor of the Kennedy Eagles. And Derek Ward trying to get his team going as the ball got loose there for a moment and we had to stop play. So here's Sanders of Kennedy to inbound. A little life being shown by these Holy Cross Crusaders right now. 3:40 remaining in the third. They're down 4 at 32-28. Remember, Kennedy had a lead up to 11, had a lead of 10 at the half. There is a foul called on Taquan Zimmerman. And for Tootie Zimmerman, that's number 2 as he was working against Johnson and prohibited Johnson from moving forward with the hand check, thus the foul.
Holy Cross obviously listening to what Ed Generali had to say at halftime as they've come out a lot tougher defensively against this Kennedy Eagle team.
Now the inbounds. Generali wants to know why Steve Kirk was moving Derek Ward away and talking to Derek Ward, but play goes on. Sanders, now here's Evans from the side. No, make it Williams. No, Cardozo, excuse me, I apologize. Cardozo with the 3, and it's 35-28, back to a 7-point lead for Kennedy. Here's Murphy. Murphy to Zimmerman on the right. Redding bothered by Cardozo. Here's Redding trying to swing it. Gives it to Manetti. Turns, fires way off. Rob Manetti is just having a tough shooting night tonight. Only has 2 points. Ball goes out of bounds. And I believe Holy Cross retained possession. Last touch by Kennedy. But Steve, Rob Manetti, the hero of last week's win for Holy Cross, not shooting it well tonight.
Not at all. He came up way short on that turnaround jumper from the top of the key.
Inside it goes to Cole. Back outside in the left corner it goes to Redding, who comes up off the glass and puts it home. Nice move by Mark Redding. 5 points on the night for Redding. And now there's pushing and shoving by Just and Cardozo. Starting to get a little physical activity out there, and Jack Tagley has to call a timeout because his team was very close to him going with a 5-second violation. Or did he call a foul? No, 30-second timeout.
Jack wanted an offensive charge called on that last basket by Redding as one of his players went flying after the shot. No call on the play, and I think that's why Jack was a little upset there, but he also wants to get his team back into their game set because they've seen their lead cut in half here in this third period.
Well, the elbows have been a little bit more liberal here in the third period on both sides of the court, Nick. As the intensity is picked up by Holy Cross, certainly Kennedy is reacting to it, and Kennedy owning the 5-point lead at 35-30 with 2:40 remaining here in the third period of play. WATR Waterbury, Connecticut, 13-20.
Elbows have picked up, but the hand checks have been called here in this period. You can get away with an elbow, but keep the hands off the other player's body.
So the inbounds coming from Sanders, and Sanders will run the baseline trying to find an open man, and now gets it to Johnson, who got loose. Here comes Johnson working against Zimmerman as Holy Cross backs off, picks up man-to-man. Johnson and Zimmerman going at it. Here's Evans. Evans with a head fake gets it outside to Sanders at the top of the key, bothered by Kolb. This is Cardozo working against St. Just. Cardozo comes to the top of the key, moves traffic along, tries to get the inside pass, nowhere to go. Instead, gives it down to Williams. Running one-hander comes down the lane, no good. Rebound inside, taken down by Mark Redding. Ahead it goes to Kolb. Kolb now backs it out, gives it to Zimmerman. Zimmerman wanted Murphy, but the defense was there. St. Just. Redding on the left. Redding working against Cardozo. Now whistle and the push and the hand check, just like Steve Gessick told you. They'll let the elbows go, but they're going to call the hand check, and the foul was called against Kennedy, called against Cardozo. That would be his first. Second team foul on the Eagles, 4 on the Crusaders here, with 1:55 remaining in the third period of play. There's Kyle Murphy with the whistle, and was that a whistle?
I believe it was his sneaker when he came back down on the floor.
Okay, because I thought I heard a whistle, and then then Murphy fell down after getting bumped, no call, and the shot was an air ball, went out of bounds, but last touched by Kennedy, who has the 5-point lead at 35-30. St. Just wants to inbounds. He's got to call a timeout because he can't find anybody, and Ed says, give me a 30-second timeout. A little frustrated that the youngster, Rashawn St. Just, couldn't find the inbounds. But, last week Eddie had words of praise for St. Just coming in off the bench in a tough situation against Wilby to play fairly well.
He came off the bench. He hasn't played all that much this season. He came in a tough situation. Holy Cross in a tough game last week. Packed gym, loud gym, and he performed well in that contest, the last-second win over Wilby.
So, 1:51 remaining in the third period of play, 35-30. Kennedy leading by 5. The Eagles had their lead up as high as 11 in the second period, had a 10-point lead at the half. Holy Cross now fighting their way back into the game here in the third period. The third period's taken a little bit longer than the first 2 periods did, Steve.
Yeah, we've had a couple of timeouts called, one by each team in this period, none in the first half, so neither team in danger with plenty of timeouts to spare.
Mark Redding lets fly a 3-ball off the rim, no good. Tapped up by Ryan Kolb and in. 6 points on the night for Ryan Kolb, and it's a 3-point lead now for Kennedy at 35-32 with 1:30 left in the third period of play. Here comes Johnson across the right side of the court. Bounce pass to Sanders. Sanders working against Kolb with elbows flying. Gives it off to Williams. No good. Rebound taken away by Taquan Zimmerman. Here's Tootie Zimmerman across the midcourt line. Right side over to Redding. In the corner. Rashawn St. Just goes back to Redding. Gets it over to Zimmerman. And Eddie Generali saying, kick it out, kick it out. Here's St. Just on the left. Now, into Kolb, back to St. Just, over to Murphy, swings it over to Taquan Zimmerman, 3-ball no good, rebound, one and done for the Crusaders as it goes off to Johnson of Kennedy. He comes across and now gives it into the forecourt to Cardozo. Cardozo spreads it out with Sanders. Sanders wants to go 1-on-1 against Kolb, running the clock with 45 seconds left in the third. A 3-point lead for Kennedy at 35-32. Here's Sanders giving it off to Cardozo right in front of us. Cardozo goes toward the right side. Looking. He picked the ball up. Now gives it stolen away there by Mark Redding. Redding gives it off to Kolb. It's behind him. Kolb has got to pick it up. And now his trouble. Now double dribble called against Ryan Kolb. He turned it over. So it was turnovers by each squad there. And 29.2 left here in the third period of play.
And Kennedy obviously will be trying to hold for one shot now as they did it their last possession with over a minute to play.
Now taken away by Taquan Zimmerman. Gets it back to Redding. Over to Zimmerman. Zimmerman kicks it back out. 20 seconds left in the period. Zimmerman wants to get Redding out of the way. And now one shot. 15 seconds to go in the period. Holy Cross down by 3, 35-32 to Kennedy. 10 seconds, 9 seconds, and 8. Now here is Murphy inside, too hard for Kolb, and it goes out of bounds with 4.4 seconds left. He had the right idea, did Kyle Murphy, just too hard for Ryan Kolb, who was wide open underneath the basket.
Wide open now, 4.4 seconds for Kennedy. Holy Cross putting the full court pressure on.
Intercepted by Zimmerman. He lays it up and in with the period coming to an end. And that's how it ends. 35-34. Kennedy at the end of 3 periods of play. A 60-second timeout. Then the 4th period from the Kennedy Gymnasium. Once again, your score. Kennedy 35. Holy Cross 34. You're listening to N.V.L. Basketball on WATR. Well, whatever Ed said at the half, it's paid some dividends for him in that period as he's down by 1 at 34-35. 35-34, Kennedy leading. Here's Kennedy to inbounds the 4th period. Now he moved him back and forth. That's the second time that Sanders has created a turnover on the inbound, Steve.
Well, you've got the ball at the sidelines. You can't move your feet on the sidelines on an inbounds pass, and he shuffled his feet and moved, and the officials called it. Something you don't see called too often, but this time it was called a turnover by the Kennedy Eagles.
All right, so the officials, Bill Murphy and Steve Kirk, talking it over and getting them together. And now Steve Kirk comes in front of us, and Murph goes over to the other side to explain to Jack Taglia what was going on. All right, so Holy Cross now gets the ball. With just 1 second gone by here in the 4th period. Manetti into the game for Holy Cross to St. Just. This is Redding. St. Just over to Manetti. Manetti with the lead inside to Derek Ward, who takes it right to the hoop. Can't get it to go down. Whistle and a foul. I believe that was 33, he said. 31. All right, we'll call that against, that would be against Elijah Evans, who has 12 points tonight. And to the line, Derek Ward with 12 tonight as well to shoot a pair. So Ward steadies himself, looks to tie this game up at 35. First foul shot's underway, no good, right off the front of the rim. That's what he's done the last 3 times to the line. Misses the front end, hits the back end. Second foul shot for Derek Ward. As he bounces and steadies, looks to tie the game. Here's the second shot, and he gets it to go down. We're tied at 35. Holy Cross down by 11 in the first half, 10 at the half, have now fought back and have tied this up at 35 with 7:30 remaining in the game. Now here's the shot taken from the left-hand side by Kennedy. No good. That was Williams with the shot. Rebound by Derek Ward. Gives it off to Redding. 1 against 3 goes inside. Loses the ball, but is able to be recaptured by Kolb. Kolb gets it to Ward. Ward now and the foul and a hack called against Cardoza. That'll be Cardoza's second. But the defensive pressure, and Steve, what a, not a good play by Mark Redding. He's 1 against 3, wants to go to the hoop. You can't do that. You got to set it up where your offense.
It was very fortunate that Kolb was able to come down with the ball in the corner. Keeps possession for the Crusaders.
Holy Cross working the offense. Minetti with the ball, gives it back to St. Just. Right side it goes to Redding. Inside stops, pops, no good. Rebound by Minetti. And bad news for Holy Cross as Mark Redding out of bounds. He went up with the shot, and I think he came down on someone else's ankle or foot. He's injured. He's down and he's hurt. And now for the second Friday in a row, Steve, Ed Generali's troops have suffered an injury to a frontline player as the trainer's now getting ready to come on out to take a look at him. Let's take a 60-second timeout right here. With 7:06 left in the game, your score, Holy Cross 35, Kennedy 35. You're listening to N.V.L. basketball for the 63rd consecutive year on 1320 WATR. And that's a pretty good ankle sprain, I'd say he has right now. We'll see what he does when he... Yeah, it's an ankle. Just tell, by the way, he won't, as he sits down, he will not put any pressure on it. And Roland Perot looking at it right now. Yeah, it's his ankle. They're going to take the sneaker off and get some ice on it and tape it up pretty good. And boy, I don't know how many times I did that. You go up when you're playing ball and go up in the air and you come down on someone else's foot and that whole outside of your ankle just gives way. Here's Minetti with the inbounds. Has it taken out of his hands momentarily. Now gets in the corner, St. Just. St. Just back to Minetti. Looking for Kolb to St. Just. Minetti fires away a three ball, no good. Rebound by Kolb into the corner, has it. Trapped in there, tries to get out of it. Whistle and the foul called against Kennedy. Let's see what Murphy called over there. And Eddie Generali says, didn't you see it? And Jack Tagley is working Steve Kirk over here and Generali at the same time. Murphy has the ball. It's given to Kennedy. A long home run pass given to Johnson. Yes, and a foul as St. Just comes back to get him. They threw the home run ball, 1st and 10, and then touchdown, and an extra point coming. Johnson with the basket to give Kennedy the lead at 37-35, and to make one here to increase the lead.
You won't see that too many times against an Ed Generali coach team where a breakdown on defense and a full court pass as a three-point play completed, and Kennedy now leads 38-35.
By the way, the JV game, it was all Kennedy in that JV game at 66-47. Whistle inside as the shot is missed, and we'll see what's coming up here. So Eddie Generali's got to get into his bench a little bit deeper. Now, two of his 5 starters is maybe two of the most important of the 5. Jerome Mitchell in street clothes. Now Mark Redding with an ice pack on his right ankle on the outside. First foul shot is good by Kyle Murphy, who's had a very, very quiet night. That's just his 3rd points of the night, Steve Gessick.
Extremely quiet night for Kyle Murphy. Only 1 rebound also in the game as he's really been non-existent on the floor.
38-36, Kennedy. And here's the Murphy foul shot. No good. Tapped back by Kolb, tapped around and pulled down finally by Johnson, Marcus Johnson of Kennedy. Here's Sanders right in front of us in the Kennedy forecourt. Almost has it taken away by Derek Ward. Sanders getting in trouble handling that ball, but he's able to get it off to Cardozo. And Cardozo with an elbow to the throat of Rob Mendetti, who, though, impeded the progress of Cardozo and thus is called with the foul.
Another one of those touch fouls as Mendetti just reached across the body. Ball in Cardozo's left hand, and Mendetti reached across the body, was called for the foul. The 6th on the Crusaders.
3 and 5 fouls against the Eagles so far here in the second half. Eagles working the floor. That's Redding. Derek Ward giving up a pass and another behind-the-back pass by Sanders. It's no good. A whistle and the foul. The ball is tied up, and it belongs to Holy Cross on the tie-up. It's the Sanders. Loves to come down the lane and throw it behind his head to an open man.
It worked once, almost worked again, but the Crusaders defended that one a little bit better and have the ball back, trailing by 2.
5:55 remaining in the game, 38-36. Kennedy leading Holy Cross. It's been a quiet night for Rob Minetti. Minetti with just a couple of points. Here's Tootie Zimmerman. Zimmerman looking for Kolb. Now is not going to go there. Kennedy just sitting back in his zone, just waiting. Here's Murphy dishing inside to Derek Ward, who gets it to go home. Derek Ward with the tough basket. For Derek, 15 points tonight. And we're tied at 38. 5.5 left in the game. Here's the pick in the pocket. Derek Ward of Sanders puts it up and in. Sanders cannot handle that ball well against Derek Ward. 17 points. There's a whistle and a hold. Foul called against Holy Cross, who now has the lead again at 40-38. But Steve, if you're Jack Taglia's team, why do you want to put it in Denzel Sanders' hands?
It's a good question. As Kennedy's going to be going to the line, shoot 1-1 now, as that was a 17th foul against the Crusaders here in the second half. But Holy Cross has stepped up the defensive intensity, trailing at one point 35-28 with 3 minutes left in the third period. They have gone on a 12-3 run, now own a 2-point lead.
So here's Johnson at the line with the front end of the 1-1. Lets it fly, nails it down. He'll get another. 40-39. Kennedy leading. Excuse me, Holy Cross leading. Kennedy by 1 as they look to tie it right here. Second foul shot, no good. Rebound taken away by Kyle Murphy of the Crusaders. And here comes Tootie Zimmerman across the midcourt line. Holy Cross the 1-point lead with 5 minutes remaining in the game, 40-39. First time around these two teams met, it was a 41-37 game victory for Holy Cross. There's a whistle and the foul. Derek Ward's heading to the line. So where Mark Redding has left off, Derek Ward has picked up. Derek with 17 on the night. And we apologize, we cannot see the officials and their hand signals as to who the foul is on, but it's a 2-shot foul. And here's Derek Ward. Steadies himself, lets the first one go, and hits the front of the rim. No good.
Well, if the Crusaders were able to hit their foul shots tonight, they'd be up by probably close to 7-8 points right now, but they have struggled immensely from the line tonight.
We'll get a total for you in just a moment after this foul shot by Derek Ward. And it's away. He misses that one. Tapped around, and Ward is able to get it. Now Ward wants to go to the hoop. Goes up high, everybody. Nobody there. Goes up high. Whistle and the foul from behind. I think they're going to call that one on Ryan Kolb. Let's see what Steve... Yeah, Ryan Kolb did get called for that foul. I believe that's his first. To the line to shoot 1-1 will come a Kennedy player. So Derek Ward misses 2 in a big spot there. And to the line to shoot 1-1 will be
Elijah Evans. Okay. I had to wait for
Bill Murphy to step out of the way. His first foul shot is a brick. No good. Derek Ward the rebound. Here's Holy Cross owning a 1-point lead. 4:45 left in the game. 40-39. Cody Zimmerman looking for the high post from Ward. They back it off. Underneath it goes to Kolb. Bounce pass outside the Minetti. Fires away with a 3-ball. In and out. Rebound by Kolb. Kolb has it knocked out of his hands by Sanders. And a whistle and the foul underneath. And they're going to call... They called 34. That was Denzel Sanders with the foul. And that's his third, and to the line goes Ryan Kolb. Kolb's first trip to the line tonight. As he gets ready. And here is Kolb steadying himself and fires away. Good. He'll get another one. As Kolb looks over to Steve Kirk, our referee, one of our two tonight. Looks over and gets the ball back in, lets it fly away. Good. 41-39. Holy Cross leading Kennedy. Sanders with the ball in the backcourt, now puts in the hands of Johnson. Johnson working against Tootie Zimmerman. Coming down to 4:20 left in the game. 3-point lead for Holy Cross. They were down by 10 at the half, were the Crusaders. Now a foul called against Derek Ward. That should be his second, as he was working against Sanders. And Sanders to the line to shoot 1-1. Fourth period, Steve, this one's going to really, really slow down. We had a tremendous pace in the first and the second period. Here in the second half, things have just slowed down terrifically.
Well, five fouls called in the third period. We've already doubled that in this fourth period as both teams sending the others to the line, both in the bonus. Kennedy will be shooting double bonus on the next Holy Cross foul.
First shot by Sanders is good. Gives him 3 points tonight. Sanders waits for a steps off the line so a substitute can come in. Grimsley comes in, and Williams will sit down for Jack Taglia's team.
Grimsley with 18 three-pointers on the season, one including one tonight, has been a pleasant surprise for the Kennedy Eagles of late, scoring 21 in the win against Naugatuck and 12 against Watertown last week.
Second shot no good. Minetti, the rebound, can't hold on to it, taken out of his hands. And Kennedy owns the ball. Here's Johnson. Johnson wants to work against Tootie Zimmerman. Eagles spreading the floor out now with 4 minutes to go. Here's Sanders coming around, loses the defense, and now starts bouncing the ball. Snaps it off to Cardoza, working against Minetti. Kennedy wants to set the tempo, running the floor, running a little bit of a weave here. Now here comes Sanders, comes down with the jump step, rejected away by Kolb. Away come the Holy Cross Crusaders with the ball. This is Tootie Zimmerman to the foul line. Bounce pass inside. Derek Ward puts it in. Yes, and it counts. So Derek Ward having himself a big night here tonight. 44-40, Holy Cross the lead. 19 points on the night for Derek Ward.
11 rebounds also for Ward.
And now a timeout has been called. And let's see what does he want, a 30-second timeout? We'll take a full timeout. We'll take a 30-second timeout back to the station. Your score with 3:37 left in the game. Holy Cross 44, Kennedy 40. You're listening to N.V.L. Basketball on WATR. Holy Cross at 9 of 20. Gordy says, okay, thank you for that correction. So, Steve, what you're talking about is right. Gordy has him 9 of 20 at the line. There's 11 points.
11 points plus, none of them were front ends of a 1-and-1 miss, but 11 points given away is add another miss to that total.
But the rebound taken down by Kolb, he loses it out of bounds. So it makes Holy Cross now 9 of 21 at the line. Is that what you have, Gordy? We'll double check. Inbounds coming from Sanders with the home run ball to Johnson ahead of the field, and he'll put it in the basket. Again, Holy Cross caught sleeping on the inbounds. Kennedy to within 2 at 44-42 with 3:20 left in the game. Here's Cole being pressured and pushed, and a foul. Cardoza picks up his third foul there as he pushed into Ryan Kolb, and now Kolb to the line.
Not the player you want to send to the line for the Crusaders. Kolb, a very good foul shooter.
2 of 2 tonight at the line. Steadies himself and now readies. Flips the ball and fires away. That's good. 45-42, a 3-point game in favor of Holy Cross, who was down. The Crusaders were down by 10 at the half at 29-19. Second foul shot by Kolb is good. 46-42. Holy Cross by 4. Sanders working the backcourt, now gets it into the hands of Johnson. And here comes Johnson between the legs, puts the brakes on. Now Kennedy spreads the floor. Looking to take time off the clock and trying to get a hoop here. Cardoza looking for some help, gives it to Evans. Back outside, it goes to Johnson. Johnson on the right side, working against Tootie Zimmerman with a step. Comes down, goes up with a shot. Yes, and it counts! Oh, he threw up a prayer. He threw up a prayer, and it went in. And he'll go to the line to shoot for the three-point play.
Well, he got into double coverage as he was driving to the hoop, and hard foul, I believe it was on Zimmerman, and somehow got the shot to go and a chance to trim the Crusader lead down to 1.
If it was against Zimmerman, it's his third, but that ball's well short. But Kennedy gets the ball on the out of bounds as as Kyle Murphy could not hold on to the ball. 2:56 remaining in the fourth. 46-44, Holy Cross. And Sanders this time, instead of turning the ball over, could not find anyone to pass it to. He calls a timeout, and we'll keep the timeout right here for this one. But Steve, look at the disparity at the foul line once again. I mean, it is a story in this game, because when you go 9 of 21, you're giving away 12 points at the line, and that's Holy Cross doing that, and they have the 2-point lead.
Right, and they could be up a lot more than they are if they had a little bit better night shooting at the foul line. You're not going to make all 20 out of, or 21 out of 21, but even if you hit 70% out of the 21 foul shots, you got a comfortable lead right now of about 7 or 8 points.
Kennedy, meanwhile, has only been to the line, I count 12 times. And have made a little over half of that, 7 of 12. Sometimes the pen runs. That happens when you use a fountain pen. Kind of runs on you. 2:56 left in the contest. 46-44. Kennedy
7 for 13.
7 for 13 for the Eagles. 9 of 21 for the Crusaders. So both teams, Steve, missing their opportunities at the foul line.
Well, even with the 8 extra foul shots, if Holy Cross makes half of those, add another 4 points to the lead, they have a 6-point lead instead of clinging to a 2-point lead with Kennedy with the ball right now.
And Kennedy, every time they get fouled now, are in the double bonus. It'll be 2 shots with 2:56 remaining in the contest. Denzel Sanders will inbound it. Sanders looking, now gets the ball out to Johnson. Johnson looking to run the offense. Here's Johnson. Johnson with the step, comes down the lane, throws up a shot, no good, whistle, and the foul. That'll be against Tootie Zimmerman, and if our books are correct, that would be Tootie Zimmerman's 4th personal foul. Eddie General. And he's got a point, though. I have to say, Eddie's saying to the officials, "Where's the elbow? Where's the pushing with the offensive elbow?" And he's got a good chance. He's right. There has been a lot of that on both sides tonight. First foul shot is good by Johnson. 14 points tonight for Johnson as he gets set. Can't get it to go down. And away comes Kyle Murphy, who hands it off to Tootie Zimmerman. It's a 1-point game. 46-45, 2:30 left in the fourth period of play. Holy Cross clinging to the lead. Kind of reminiscent of last week, Steve, only at a slower pace.
Much slower pace, and Kennedy now going to come out and force Holy Cross to play.
Nice inside pass from Derek Ward over to Ryan Kolb. Kolb with a dozen tonight. And it's 48-45, back to a 3-point lead now for Holy Cross. Here is Cardoza. Comes over, passes it to Johnson. Right in front of our broadcast position on the far sideline. Now here is Sanders working against Kolb. Gives it to Cardoza. 1:50 remaining in the game. Evans had thoughts of shooting, kicks it outside. Here is Sanders. Sanders comes back outside, wants to work against Kolb, wants to come down the lane, throws up a running one-hander, no good, whistle, and a foul. And they'll call it against Ryan Kolb. And I mean, those people, you're going to be watching this on TV, the replay during the week, you just have to take notice of Eddie Generale and the way he just puts his hands up in the air just in a very sarcastic way. Yeah, you've got to be kidding me. So for Ryan Kolb, a couple fouls. And now to the foul line is Denzel Sanders. 1 of 2, 3 points tonight for Denzel. Steadies himself. Here the bounce of the ball, and he releases it. a brick off the back rim.
N.V.L for the season, only a 57% foul shooter.
Elijah Evans steps in to give his teammate a little encouragement. And now here's the second foul shot. Got that one to go down. 1 of 2 at that time around. 2 of 4 tonight from the line for N.V.L. 2-point game. 48-46. Holy Cross leading with 1:30 remaining in the contest. Now will Holy Cross kick it out? And they will. They'll spread the floor. They'll take the opportunity, though. There is a basket from 10 feet away by Tootie Zimmerman. Give him 7 points on the night. 50-46. Holy Cross. Here comes Johnson across the midcourt line in a hurry. Gives it back to Sanders. Sanders right in front of us gives it back to Johnson. Johnson waits for the traffic to clear, holds up fist over his head. Left fist over his head, now wants to come down. Clearing Zimmerman away. I mean, you can't really get away with that, but they've been able to. There is Sanders kicking it outside. Here comes a 3-ball, in and out, no good. Holy Cross can't contain the rebound, and it kicks back out to Kennedy. 56 seconds remaining in the game. The Eagles want a 3-point play. Here's Grimsley with a 3, no good. Rebound underneath taken by Derek Ward, and going flying is Elijah Evans, and we have a whistle and the foul called against Elijah Evans. That'll be his third. And with 49 seconds remaining in the game, the double bonus is in effect for both teams. And here's Derek Ward. Derek Ward is just 1 of 6, 1 of 5 here in the fourth period at the foul line. And I have him as 5.
The foul must have been against N.V.L Sanders, and he must be out of the game as Kennedy, Coach Jack Taglia talking to him on the sidelines, taking his allotted time to put in the replacement.
12 times tonight Derek Ward has been to the foul line. He's missed 6, so he's shooting 50%, and he's about to shoot 2 here. 6 of 12 for Derek Ward tonight. 19 points on the evening. And he can give his team a little bit of breathing room here with a couple of made foul shots. Spreads, shoots, good. That's a big basket right there for the Crusaders. Makes it a 5-point lead, Steve. And now a timeout called. I believe Jack Taglia wants a timeout. He wants to talk to his team over here. Full timeout called by Jack Taglia. We'll take a timeout as well. 49 seconds remaining in the contest. Your score, Holy Cross 51, Kennedy 46. You're listening to N.V.L Basketball on 1320 WATR. The Gymnasium, our site tonight, here on the west side of Waterbury, the Battle of Town Plot, right now in favor of the Holy Cross Crusaders, down at 10 at the half, have come back in this second half and now own a 5-point lead at 51-46. Not a bad second half, Steve, when you consider Holy Cross only had 19 at the end of the first half. 32
points in the second half for the Crusaders, and it looks like it may be another game that Kennedy's going to look at this year and say, we let another one slip away unless they can come back from this 5-point deficit in the final 49 seconds.
And now make the deficit 6 as Derek Ward hits 2 big foul shots. 49 seconds to go. Here's Johnson trying to get up court against St. Just. Goes up with a shot, throws it up, whistle, a little touch foul after the shot. Late call there by our official, Steve Kirk. But to the line will go Johnson. 3 of 6 at the line tonight for Johnson, and he'll shoot 2 here.
Johnson less than 50% from the line this season as he misses the front end. Or the first of his 2 as in the double bonus.
He has 14 points on the night, does I have Marcus Johnson for, as he gets ready to shoot his next foul shot. And he misses that one. Derek Ward, the rebound in traffic, trying to clear it out. Can't get anywhere. Timeout. Very smart timeout. Derek Ward was triple teamed, and he was able to call the timeout because Kennedy did a tremendous job of surrounding him. But smart play by Derek Ward. And now, timeout situation, Steve Gessick, what do you have?
I've got Holy Cross with 3 full timeouts remaining, and Kennedy down to just 1 full timeout.
37.6 remaining in the contest. It's 52-46, Holy Cross leading Kennedy here at the Kennedy Gymnasium.
You can look back at this game in the tale of two halves, obviously. Kennedy in the first half, a little more offensive-minded. They were pressing the action a little bit on the offensive end of the court. And yes, Holy Cross's defense stepped up in the second half, but Kennedy seemed to stand around a lot more offensively in the second half, trying to milk the lead and milk the clock and to protect their lead. And maybe they should have come out, tried to play a little bit more in the second half offensively.
So with 37.6 remaining, huddles break. Both teams in the double bonus. So anytime we have a foul, we're going to the line for 2 shots. And here comes the inbounds. Derek Ward will inbound it for Holy Cross. Gets it in right away to Kyle Murphy. Here's Rob Minetti. Foul in the backcourt by Elijah Evans. And Rob Minetti will go to the line to shoot 2. Folks, this next 34 seconds is going to take about 20 minutes in real time to take place. And this will just slow down to a crawl. Now, we opened up the first half and played that first half in 27 on your watch. This second half has already taken 45.
Just a different style of play in the halves. A number of fouls called here in the second half as Minetti hits the first of his 2 shots.
For Rob Minetti, a very quiet night. He's had a tough night shooting. Just 3 points on the night with that foul shot. And Rashawn St. Just checking with Ed Generali, his coach, as to what the situation is going to be. All right, now we'll hold things up a moment. And
it was 5 fouls
on Evans?
On Evans, as the official score didn't buzz it until after the first foul shot was made.
So 2 Kennedy players have fouled out. And again, we apologize. Players fouls not up on the board here, and the officials turn their back to us when they signal a foul to the scorer, which is on the opposite side of the table.
Jeff Kennedy getting ready to check into the game in place of Evans.
All right, so Minetti getting ready to shoot his second foul shot. And he lets it fly. Hits the front of the rim. Tap up by Derek Ward, though, is good. And Derek Ward, 21 points tonight. And now whistle, and Steve Kirk stops play. And a little confusion among the officials as to whether the ball should have been in play or not. Kirk was saying, I wasn't ready. Now Murphy is telling Taglia what the situation is. And meanwhile, the boys are all standing on the court in confusion. They don't know what to do. Now the officials coming over and they'll get themselves together. All right, now we evidently have it worked out. This is why I like 3 officials, though, Steve. When it can be afforded and we can have it. 3 officials. That way it's triangulated. You get to see the floor, and we don't have situations like this. Here's Johnson for Kennedy on the inbounds. 20 seconds left. Johnson wants to work. Wants to throw up a 3. Can't. Too much defense. Cardoza, 3-ball, no good. Cardoza, rebound, 3-ball, no good. As it's knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. That stops the clock with 13.7 seconds left. So Kennedy will see its record drop to 6-7, while Holy Cross will go to 12-1 on this season. There's a 3-ball thrown up by Johnson. That's no good. Rebound by Derek Ward. Outlet to Kyle Murphy. Murphy coming down the left side. Right side now. Steps out, throws it underneath to Derek Ward, who will not go toward the basket. He'll let it run out, and that will do it. Your final score here from the Kennedy Gymnasium. The Holy Cross Crusaders come from behind, down 10 at the half, to win this game 55-46. A 2-minute timeout. Then we'll be back to wrap this game up. You've been listening to N.V.L. Basketball on 1320 WATR. Wow, Elijah Evans. 55-46 in favor of the Holy Cross Crusaders, who just put on a terrific second half, Steve Gessick. Crusaders had just 19 points at the end of the first half, exploded here in the second half.
Well, it all started with their defense and also with the rebounding. The teams each had 14 in the first half. The second half, Holy Cross dominated the boards. They ended up out-rebounding Kennedy in the game 37-24. That after 14-14 in the first half. And of that, Derek Ward, 16 rebounds, including 7 in that fourth period.
He had a monster of a night. 16 rebounds, 23 points. Also, I have Derek Ward for. What a night for Derek Ward. And he needed to step up because Holy Cross was playing without Jerome Mitchell out with an injured knee. And then Mark Redding went down with a sprained ankle. And so it was a tough night for Holy Cross, Ed Generali's team. The bench really had to step up, and as Gordy will detail for you shortly, you'll see that the bench did a nice job. And things that you don't see, like Rashawn St. Just coming off the bench, Steve, and just running the floor and making passes and playing defense. Scored no points, but he filled lanes, and he did the things he had to do to contribute to a victory.
And Ryan Kolb also another strong outing, 5 offensive rebounds and a few putbacks included in those 5 rebounds as Holy Cross once again just dominates the glass. Whatever Ed Generali has for a halftime talk, he's got to bottle it, and of course he doesn't want to give it out though.
Right. No. All right, let's get over to Gordy. Take a look at the stats.
Okay, Bobby, thank you. Final score tonight, Holy Cross Crusaders 55 over the Kennedy Eagles 46. Leading the way for Holy Cross, Derek Ward with 23 points. Followed by Mark Redding with 6. Kyle Murphy had 3. Tootie Zimmerman had 7. Rob Minetti had 3. And Ryan Kolb had 12. Shooting for Holy Cross, first half, 7 for 23. Second half, 12 for 22. For a night of 19 for 45, 42%. From the three-point goal line, they were 0 for 5 and 1 for 9 for a night of 1 for 14, 7%. From the foul line, they shot 5 for 10 and 9 for 17 for a night of 14 for 27, 52%. For the Kennedy High Eagles, their high man was Marcus Johnson with 14 points, followed by Bradley Williams with 10, Elijah Evans with 12, Donald Cardozo had 3, Denzel Sanders had 4, and Sam Grimsley had 3. Shooting for Kennedy, first half 10 for 16, second half 4 for 17, for a night of 14 for 33, 42%. From the three-point goal line, they were 2 for 7 and 1 for 4 for a night of 3 for 11, 27%. From the foul line, they shot 3 for 4 and 6 for 15 for a night of 9 for 19, 47%. Score by periods, both teams scored 10 points in the first quarter. In the second quarter, Kennedy outscored Holy Cross 19-9 to take a 10-point lead at halftime, 29-19. In the third quarter, Holy Cross scored 15 points to Kennedy 6 to cut the margin to 1 point, 35-34 in Kennedy's favor. In the last quarter, Holy Cross scored 21 points to Kennedy's 11 to be victorious by 9 points, 55-46. With the victory, Holy Cross improves their league and overall record to 12-1. They are 5-0 in the city. Kennedy drops to 6-7 in the league and overall, and they are 0-6 in the city. In the first game tonight, the JV contest was won by the Kennedy JVs, 66-47. The Kennedy JVs are now 7-6, while the Holy Cross JVs are 8-4. Now we'll go back to Bob and Steve.
So, Steve, it's a pretty good victory for the Holy Cross Crusaders, really proving their mettle and coming from behind, down 10 at the half. I know I keep saying it, but you know what? They came out with an impressive second half, got themselves a little bit more active, looked a little bit more involved, engaged, and for the Kennedy Eagles, whoops, it's another one that got away.
Another one that got away. A good win for Holy Cross, but how costly of a win for Holy Cross with Mark Redding's injury.
We'll have to wait and see. Coming up next week, boy, what a terrific couple of games we have next week for you. On Tuesday night, is it Wednesday? No, it's Tuesday night. Tuesday night next week. We do have Wednesday games coming up. Tuesday night of next week, it's Sacred Heart and Crosby. And then on next Friday, it's Holy Cross and Crosby. Big test week for the Bulldogs.
Oh, huge week for the Bulldogs as they've scored over 90 points in their last 3 games, playing Ansonia for the second time in 3 nights again tonight. So, they're hitting on all cylinders right now.
Well, partner, we'll see you in a couple of weeks as you're traveling next weekend. So have fun wherever you might be. And if you're going someplace, I'm going to,
I'm either going cold or warm.
Yeah. If you go to the warm, I'll save it for later. Anyway, we'll see you in a couple of weeks, Steve. Our thanks tonight to Courtney Miller-Rail back at the WATR studios.